Hello everyone, and welcome to GT Guild Gaming tutorial of Legendary Marvel Comics, created by Devin Lowe, distributed by Upper Deck. And as you can see, this is one of the play mats here that you can purchase online. I am glad to have this. This is a really nice mat because we have Thanos, I guess the Avengers here, and then I have another mat here that is just a Spider-Man, and so this is for me to lay my cards on. You probably, if you've seen my previous videos, this is where it goes. Now, so this is the city. Let's start with the map here, okay? So we have the sewers, the bank, the rooftops, the streets, and then the bridge. Down below is the HQ. This is where you go recruit your heroes from. Now the hero deck is going to be here to the right of it, and to the right of the city is the villain deck. And so you're always going to be working right to left, unless stated otherwise by the villain card. Bystander stack is always here. Wound stack is always here. The escape pile is always here. You can use this space here for your KO pile. And then scheme, we'll get to that here in a minute. The mastermind, and then officers. And then the scheme twists go to the right of the scheme, and the strikes go next to the mastermind. Sidekicks we will get to on another day of a different tutorial. Alright, so first of all, let's start with the bystanders. So the bystanders will go right here, as I said. This is your basic bystander. And now I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you can read the cards better. Put them on. So here is a bystander. We got J. Jonah Jameson and Betty Brant, and a bunch of people in the background trying to escape the Daily Planet as it's collapsing. So again, that's going to go in the right hand corner. Next to it are these wounds. Now the wounds say healing if you don't recruit any heroes or defeat any villains on your turn, you may KO the wounds from your hand. And we got Wolverine getting blasted to oblivion here in the background. And so let's say I have, let me just grab some cards here. Let's say here's my six cards in my hand. And even though I can probably recruit something, I can't attack anything, but I want to get rid of this wound as quick as possible. So you want to KO it and get rid of them, because they will take up space in your hand and deck. Next is Maria Hill, Special Officer. She is worth 3 recruit, and you receive 2 recruit from her. We have the shield emblem right here. That's referring to her team affiliation. And then, of course, here she is giving orders, as always. And she goes right there. Speaking of shield officers, you're going to have 8 of these agents here. These are your starter cards, so they cost 0. And 1 recruit. And then you have the shield trooper, again, worth 0. And 1 attack. You'll have 4 of these guys and 8 of these guys. And here is the Master Strike card. A Master Strike is when the Mastermind is going to attack the players. And each Mastermind has their own specific way of handling things, as they always do. So you want to be careful about that. And here's the scheme twist. We have the Sinister Six right there. 3 members at least. We got Scorpion, Green Goblin in the background, Dr. Octopus, and Venom. And the interesting thing is, Scorpion, this is the only time you're going to see him in the game. They have yet to make him as an actual villain in a villain group, or even a playable character. So when a scheme twist happens, that's when the mastermind is like one step closer of winning the game. Now, what are these schemes, you may ask? Alright, let's start out with this one here. Unleash the power of the Cosmic Cube. It has 8 twists, so you will have 8 of these. When a twist happens, now they're going to be in the villain deck. Put them next to the scheme. Now the first 4, nothing happens. However, the closer you get to twist 8, the worse it's going to get, because on twist 5 and 6, each player is going to gain a wound. Twist 7, each player gains 3 wounds. And then on twist 8, evil wins. This is what we call a timer scheme. Now, this other one, however, is what we call a conditional scheme. Superhero Civil War. And it has a setup. For 2 to 3 players, use 8 twists. For 4 to 5 players, use 5 twists. If only 2 players, use only 4 heroes in the hero deck. Normally, there are 5 when you are playing as 2 people. I personally play 2-handed solo. And however, if I'm playing with a group of people that exceed over 3 people, exceed over 2 people, I should say, sorry, then you'll get that 5th hero. So twist, you K all the heroes in HQ. And then evil wins when the hero deck runs out. So you want to be managing your how you're recruiting. Next one is Portals to the Dark Dimension. There are 7 twists in this scheme. Each twist is a dark portal. Twist 1, put the dark portal above the mastermind. And he gets +1 attack. So here. And then, twist 2 through 6, you're going to put it throughout the city, starting from the leftmost space. And the villain in that space gets +1 attack. And twist 7, evil wins. So again, this is a timer scheme. So the more schemes that come out, the worse it's going to get. Midtown Bank Robbery. 8 twists, total of 12 bystanders in the villain deck. Normally, you only put 2 bystanders in the villain deck, unless otherwise specified when playing as 2 players. Special rules. Each villain gets +1 attack for each bystander it has. Twist. Any villain in the bank captures 2 bystanders, then play the top card of the villain deck. Evil wins when 8 bystanders are carried away by escaping villains. So, what you want to do is try to keep the bank space as clear as much as possible. So when a scheme happens, if there's no one in the bank, you still play the next card of the villain deck. Negative Zone Breakout. 8 twists, and you add an extra henchman group to the villain deck. We'll get to that later on. Twist. Play the top 2 cards of the villain deck, and evil wins if 12 villains escape. Again, this is a conditional scheme. Secret Invasion of the Skrull Shapeshifters. Try to say that 3 times fast. So this one is going to have 8 twists, 6 heroes. Sorry, 6 heroes. Normally it's 5, but in this scheme, it gives you an extra hero. Then you're going to shuffle the villain group. The scroll villain group is required, and you're going to shuffle 12 random heroes from the hero deck into the villain deck. Special rules: heroes in the villain deck count as scroll villains with an attack equal to the hero's cost plus 2. If you defeat that hero, you gain it. Twist: the highest costing hero from the HQ moves into the sewers as a scroll villain, as above. Evil wins if 6 heroes get into the escaped villains pile. So, with this one, it is referring to, let's say we have Thor here, okay? And we'll get to him here in a little bit, but if he escapes, then that counts towards the scheme. Now, if it's a normal villain that is not a hero, normally, that does not count towards the condition. So, just keep that in mind when you're playing that scheme. Next up, the Legacy Virus. 8 twists. Wound stack holds only 6 wounds per player. So again, if you're playing 2 players, there's only going to be 12 wounds. Twist: each player reveals a tech hero or gains a wound. Evil wins when the wound stack runs out. And our final scheme of the core set is replace Earth's leaders with killbots. Setup: 5 twists, and then 3 additional twists stacked next to the scheme. 18 total bystanders in the villain deck. Special rules: bystanders in the villain deck count as killbot villains with attack equal to the number of twists next to the scheme. When a twist happens, put the twist next to the scheme, and then evil wins if 5 killbots escape. Now, who are these masterminds, you're probably wondering? Who are these diabolical jerks that want to try to do such a thing? Well, we talked about the killbots, so let's talk about the man who likes killbots, or should I say, Doom bots. That's right, Dr. Doom. And he always leads the Doom Bot Legion. Now, he is one of the very few, and I'm very sorry about that glare. I don't know where that came from. He's one of the very, I think him and like one other mastermind lead a henchman group. So, let's start with him. His Master Strike is each player with exactly 6 cards in hand reveals a tech hero or puts 2 cards from their hand on top of their deck. Now, mind you, if you have already only 5, if you're already down below 6 cards, you don't have to worry about this strike. If you have more than 6 cards in hand, you don't have to worry about this strike, because it says each player with exactly 6 cards in hand. Now, each mastermind has a tactic. So when you fight him, he's only worth 9 attack. And when you fight him, there's this condition. It says fight. This first tactic is called Monarch's Decree. Choose one. Each other player draws a card, or each player discards a card. So when it says each other, that does not mean the person that just attacked the mastermind or villain or henchman. Is referring to the other player or players that is playing the game. The next one is Secrets of Time Travel. When you fight this, when you gain this tactic, you earn fight. Take another turn after this one. which means you yourself, the player that just hit him, will have a chance to take another turn. However, you still have to reveal the next card from the villain deck. Next up is Dark Technology. When you gain this tactic, you may recruit a tech or a range hero from the HQ for free. Tech is the little microchip. Range is the blue targeting icon, and we will get to the more of those classes here in a few minutes. And then his final tactic is Treasures of Latveria. Fight. When you draw a new hand of cards at the end of this turn, draw 3 extra cards. Now, again, you start out with 6, and unless otherwise conditional, such as that, do you have to, you're able to draw more. And then, there is another way of defeating him in what is called the Final Blow. Now, Final Blow means he has no other tactics. However, if you want to hit the Mastermind one more time, you need to confer with your teammates, your people that you're playing the game with. Say, hey, do we want to go for this guy one more time or not? So, the choice is up to you. Now, the Doombots that he leads have 3 attack, and they are worth 1 victory point. And I forgot to mention, Dr. Doom is only worth 5 victory points. So, again, Doombot Legion only has 3 attack. When you fight them, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, KO one of them, and put the other one back. Now, this is great, especially if you have a bunch of gray cards still in your deck. However, you gotta be careful, especially if you already got some nice high-costing cards already in your deck. You might want to make sure that you at least have those played out first before you try to get rid of your zero-costing cards or even your low-costing cards. The next Mastermind is Loki. Yes, Loki. We remember him, right? That diabolical guy he is. Alright, he always leads enemies of Asgard. That's them right here. And his Master Strike is each player reveals a strength hero that is a green. It's like a fist, kind of like the Hulk. Or they gain a wound. So, his tactics is, first of all, Cruel Ruler. Fight, defeat a villain in the city for free. So, that is a nice thing. Because you get to be able to, let's say the city is full. Or has maybe only 1 space open and the other 4 are taken up. And you have a chance to hit Loki, and if this tactic has not been revealed yet, you might have a good chance of getting it. And defeating another villain for free just to get some extra VP or victory points is a good thing. And again, he's only worth 5. His next tactic is Whispers and Lies. Each other player KOs 2 bystanders from their victory pile. Ouch! So you may want to try to get that one early if possible. And before you start getting too many bystanders. Vanishing Illusions. Remember, Loki is the god of mischief. Each other player KOs a villain from their victory pile. Now this could be a henchman villain. Those are only worth 1 victory point. Or if you don't have any henchman villains, then you're going to choose one of the guys from the villain groups. But try to choose the ones with the least amount. And then Maniacal Tyrant. KO up to 4 cards from your discard pile. Now this would be a perfect time for when you're hoping to get this one is when you don't have a discard pile. The last thing you want to do is end up KOing one of your really good cards. So again, it's just a matter of timing. And then again, of course, if you want to, the option of the final blow. Now, as I mentioned before, he always leads the enemies of Asgard. The first one is the Destroyer. He has a fight condition to KO all your shield heroes. So again, if you got a bunch of grays in your hand, that's a perfect time to do that. However, some, like him, he has what's called an escape effect. So if you are not able to stop him from escaping to the city, then each player KOs 2 of their heroes. Again, that's not bad, but the other players are not going to be happy about the fact that they may have missed out on recruiting something. Or attacking. Then there's the Enchantress, and she loves Thor. I mean, seriously, this girl will never give up. However, when you fight her, you draw 3 cards. Next up is the Frost Giant. You fight him, each player reveals a ranged hero or gains a wound, and he also has the same effect for an escape. And then, last but not least, Ymir, Frost Giant King, also known as Loki's dad. Ambush. So when an ambush happens, that's when he first appears. So when he first appears into the city, each player reveals a ranged hero or they gain a wound. And when you fight him, choose a player. That player KOs any number of wounds from their hand and discard pile. So that is a good way to get rid of your wounds. But also, I would like to take a moment right now to say, if for some reason an escape happens, the first thing you do is you KO something from the HQ that is less than 7. Secondly, after the escape effect, then after that is the escape effect. Then after that, if they had any bystanders, then you discard a card. I want to make sure I said that, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some of my friends watching this later on. And they're going to be like, hey, Mikey, you forgot to say this. Okay. Now, Magneto. Of course, we had to bring in the Master of Magnetism. He always leads the Brotherhood. And his Master Strike is each player reveals an X-Men hero or discards down to 4 cards. So, his first tactic is Bitter Captor. Recruit an X-Men hero from the HQ for free. Now this would be perfect if when you attack him for 8, that there's a nice, juicy, rare card. And I'll talk about those here in a few minutes. And there's one you've been looking at, but you can't seem to get the recruit. But you're finally able to hit him for it. That's always a good thing. Xavier's Nemesis. Referring to Professor Charles Xavier. And when you gain this tactic, for each of your X-Men heroes, rescue a bystander. So if you have like 4 Cyclopses and 2 Storms, and you're able to draw even a couple Wolverines, well, you gain that many bystanders. Electromagnetic Bubble. Choose one of your X-Men heroes. When you draw a new hand of cards at the end of this turn, add that hero to your hand as a 7th card. That's not bad. However, this one is Crushing Shockwave. Each other player reveals a X-Men hero or gains 2 wounds. And again, he is only worth 5 victory points. As mentioned, he leads the Brotherhood. And there's the Blob. Chow down on a turkey leg. Getting shot at while he's doing so. You can't defeat Blob unless you have an X-Men hero. So even though he's worth 4 attack, he does have condition. Juggernaut. As an ambush effect, each player KOs 2 heroes from their discard pile. Again, this is a good way to get rid of a couple of your shield officers, or shield troopers, or shield agents. Preferably, keep the shield officers, if possible. However, if he escapes, each player KOs 2 heroes from their hand. And that could be even worse. Next up is Mystique. She is 5 attack. If she escapes, again, you KO from the HQ, and then the escape effect is she becomes a scheme twist that takes effect immediately. Oh man, the last thing you want to do is have more scheme twists happening. So be careful, especially in the timer scheme, because that does add to it. Alright, finally Sabretooth. You fight him, each player reveals an X-Men hero or gains a wound. That includes the person he just fought with 5 attack. And the final mastermind in the core set, of course, is none other than our good friend, the Red Skull. And he always leads Hydra, of course. He has 7 attack, again, worth 5 victory points. Hydra Conspiracy. Fight, you draw 2 cards. Then draw another card for each Hydra villain in your victory pile. This can always turn out to be good in your favor, especially later on in the game. And this is like maybe the 3rd or 4th final tactic that you're able to pick up. Endless resources. You get 4 recruit. This is really great, especially if you didn't have very many recruit cards. Ruthless Dictator. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. KO 1, discard 1, and then put 1 on top of your deck. Now, again, this could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. And then, Nega Blast Grenades. Now, those do not sound like fun. However, you get +3 attack to what you already have. So if you already had, let's say you had 13 attack, okay? And you hit him for 7, so you only have 6. But if you're able to get that tactic, you can hit him again. And there's always, I'll tell you one thing, the best feeling you can have is hitting the mastermind not once, but twice in one turn. Okay, again, he always leads Hydra. However, this is probably one of the worst cards you can get. Endless Armies of Hydra. When you fight this card, play the top 2 cards of the villain deck. Now, if this is the only villain that has shown up, and it's still pretty early in the game, then if you have the 4 attack, go ahead and hit him. But chances are, if now the city is somewhat full, and and everything, and you're down to only 2 scheme twists left on a timer, the last thing you want to do is hit this guy. Your best chance is to go ahead and let him escape, take the KO, eat them escape, and call it a day. And yes, there are 3 of these. Speaking of 3 attack. For a Hydra Kidnapper. When you fight them, you get Maria, or Shield Officer. Then, we have Supreme Hydra. And he is worth 3 victory points. Is worth plus 3 victory points for each other Hydra villain in your victory pile. So he already starts at 3. So if you get a bunch of these guys, oh man, your victory pile is going to look really good at the end of the game. Then, Viper. And when you fight her, each player without another Hydra villain in their victory pile gains a wound, and escape is the same effect. So again, it's something you want to be careful. Now, there are a couple other villain groups, 4 more villain groups here I would like to go through with. They do not have anybody leading them. These are basically extras. First off, let's start with some radiation. And that is the team name, by the way. This is Abomination. Now, if you fight him either on the streets or in the bridge, you rescue 3 bystanders. He's worth 5 attack. But if you fight him anywhere else, other than those 2 locations, then you will not get no bystanders. Next up is Maestro. Now, Maestro is another Hulk from another timeline. And if you fight him, for each of your strength heroes, KO one of your heroes. Now, this could be a good thing if you need to get rid of some grays. However, the last thing you want to do is have an old green deck, and the next thing you know, well, gee, now I gotta KO a bunch of heroes. The leader. Even though he's only worth 4 attack and 2 victory points, he has an ambush effect of play the top card of the villain deck. So, that could be really bad, especially if you're going against Hydra. Especially the Endless Armies of Hydra. You fight that, you play that, then you play this next. Oh man, you're in big trouble. Next is Zax. You fight him, each other player reveals a strength hero or gains a wound. Same effect if he escapes. Next up is our favorite scrolls. Our favorite aliens, the scrolls. This is Pybok, the Power Scroll. When you fight him, you choose a hero in the HQ for each player, and each player gains that hero. Now this is a great thing, especially if there's some rares in there. Those are the high costing cards of 7 through, I believe, 9 is the highest, I think, last I checked. And you get to, I mean, that is really nice to get. So, however, you're going to have to fight really hard for him. Because, like I said, he's worth 8. Next up is Scroll Queen Vronke. I think that's how you pronounce it. Ambush. Put the highest cost hero from the HQ under this villain. This villain's attack is equal to that hero's cost. And then when you fight her, you gain the hero. And if you can't tell, that's the Spider-Woman outfit. Then we have some Scroll Shapeshifters. They have an ambush effect. Put the rightmost hero from the HQ under this villain, and this villain's attack is equal to its hero's hero's cost. So, it's kind of like the Queen, but she takes the highest cost. Then there's our good old friend Super Scroll, and you fight him. Each player KOs one of their heroes. Again, great way to get rid of the grays, but not a good thing to get rid of anything else. Alright. Next up are the Masters of Evil. Baron Zemo. His fight effect is for when you attack him for 6, for each of your Avengers hero, rescue a bystander. So let's say you have like 3 Captain Americas, you were able to use Black Widow to draw 3 more cards, and then, yeah. So let's say you end up with a total of 10 of Avenger cards. Well, you're going to rescue 10 bystanders. Then there's Melter. When you fight him, each player reveals the top card of their deck. For each card, you choose to KO it or put it back. Again, this is a good way to get rid of 0 costing cards, including wounds. And then Whirlwind. You fight, and he has a fight effect. If you fight him on the rooftops or bridge, KO 2 of your heroes. Again, it depends on how many grays you have left. If you don't have any, you want to try to hit him before that or eat the escape. Then there's, last but not least, Ultron. He is worth 1 victory point for each tech hero you have among your cards at the end of the game. And then, if he escapes, each player reveals a tech hero or gains a wound. So his starting base is 2 victory points. So if you have tech, you want to try to get those victory points. Now, there are 3 other henchmen groups I need to go... Oh, no, wait. Before the henchmen, I almost forgot. Spider foes. Almost forgot about them. So, Dr. Octopus. When you fight him, when you draw a new hand of cards at the end of your turn, draw 8 instead of 6. Next up is the Green Goblin, who has an ambush. He captures a bystander. The Lizard. If you fight him in the sewers, then each other player gains a wound. So you may want to wait till he's out of the sewers. And Venom. You can't defeat Venom unless you have a covert hero. That's the red icon. And so, just like with the Blob, you have to have an X-Men hero. If he has an escape, if he escapes, each player gains a wound. Okay, now we'll move on to the henchmen. First up is the Savage Land Mutates. When you fight them, when you draw a new hand of cards at the end of your turn, you draw an extra card. Not bad. Next up is the Hand Ninjas. When you fight them, you get +1 recruit. Again, it's a nice little bonus, especially if you needed just 1 more recruit for that awesome card you've been looking at. And finally, the Sentinels. When you fight them, you KO 1 of your heroes. Again, this is great to get rid of your gray cards. Now, you're probably wondering, if you haven't played this game before, you're probably thinking, well, who are these heroes you keep talking about, Mikey? I want to know. Okay, well, hold your horses. I'm getting to it right now. Let's start with everybody's favorite friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's right, Peter Parker Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man and a lot of his friends, and that we will see later on in another tutorial, pretty much all of them cost 2. Now, as you can see, there's no recruit or attack emblems here. That's because this is what is basically called a support card. So when you play this card, and it is a tech, there's a Spider-Man, the Spider-Friend emblem. So you go rescue a bystander, then you reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 2 or less, draw it. Now, wounds cost nothing. So you can draw that wound, so that way you can hopefully get some more cards. If you have more of these. Next up is his common recruit card. Astonishing Strength. Oh, by the way, this is the web shooters. Sorry. So Astonishing Strength. As you can see, it's a strength card. 1 recruit. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 2 or less, draw it. So you can imagine what this deck can really be like if it's all 2 costs or less. Next up is Great Responsibility. 1 attack. Again, reveal the top card of the deck. If it's 2 or less, draw it. And then finally, this is what is called his rare, because it has no borders. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Put any 2 that cost 2 or less into your hand. Put the rest back in a order. Hey, this is a great way to filter through your deck, especially if you have some draw card ability. And so, again, this is what's called a rare, because it's the only one that has no other copy of it. So, that is all for Spider-Man. Again, that rare is also what, again, is called a support card. Now, he's not the only one that has only 1 member of his team. That other person is, that's right, Colonel Nick Fury. So high-tech weaponry is worth 3 recruit, 2 attack, shield emblem. If you play attack before this, you get +1 attack. So that is a great way to really amp up your attack. Next up, again, this is a support card, and that is Battlefield Promotion. You may KO a shield hero from your hand or discard pile. If you do, you may gain a shield officers to your hand. Now again, once you get rid of your grays, you got more cards. You can also start KOing Maria, special officers. This way, and you can just use this until this is the only card like this left. But you can just go ahead and just play it for just even the covert emblem if need be, because it says you may on all that. So again, it's good to know to pay attention to how things are worded. Alright, so Legendary Commander. Even though this is now what we call an uncommon card, because of how the fact that it costs more than 4. 1 second. Alright, sorry. Alright. And then you get +1 attack for each other shield hero you played this turn. So this is where you really want to hold off playing that one until you played all the others. And there's only 1, 2, 3 of those cards. Then finally his rare, again, no borders, and has the shield emblem, the tech emblem, and the condition of this card is defeat any villain or mastermind whose attack is less than the number of shield officers, shield heroes, in the KO pile. So that's when. So if anybody's KOing their shield heroes, whether it's you or not, whatever that number is, you can defeat a villain or even a mastermind. So it's a great way of dealing with that. Now, let's start with the Avengers next. So, we have the Black Widow, who is actually, she's actually having an expansion come out this week at the recording, it comes out this upcoming Wednesday. I'm looking forward to getting that in my collection. So many expansions to this game, which means I'm going to be doing a lot more tutorials. Alright, so, mission accomplished. When you play this card, you draw a card. Now, if you play a tech hero before this, or a tech card, of any kind before it, you rescue a bystander. Now again, you want to do the what's above it first, then the secondary condition. Again, this is a support card. Next up is Dangerous Rescue. If you play a covert hero before it, you may KO a card from your hand or discard pile. If you do, rescue a bystander. So this again is a great way to get rid of your gray cards, but make sure that you're also getting some shield officers or other recruit cards into your hand, because the last thing you want to do is not have enough recruit to recruit very powerful cards, or even be able to recruit anything with some more attack on it. So, and I've done that a few times, and trust me, it is not fun. Next up is Covert Operation. As you notice, there's 0 attack on this. However, if you get +1 attack for each bystander in your victory pile. So when you make your victory pile and you get a card like this, you want to make a separate pile just for the bystanders. And so, if need be, let's say you have 5 bystanders, and you have this card, and you have, let's say, 2 of these cards. Let's say you go ahead and got 3 of these, and then you got another one of these. Now play this first, and you get, let's say you have 5 bystanders, okay? And then you play these 3. You can trigger these 3 effects, get rid of a couple wounds, or get rid of some weaker cards, and then get more bystanders. Then play this next card, and guess what? Now you got, instead of 5, 10, and 5, 10, 12, 14, 16, you now have 5, 8, plus it's 13, 15, 17, 19 attack. So again, it can really add up really fast. And then again, her rare is only 4 attack, but defeat a villain or mastermind that has a bystander. So that means if they have a bystander, you can defeat them for free. So Silent Sniper does that for you. It's not the most powerful card as far as attack goes, but it still has its uses. Now, let's go to our good old buddy Captain America, shall we? Avengers Assemble. So we have 3 cost. Now, I'll get to that here in a minute. Again, you got the shield, the Avenger emblem. And right below it is this new, that you saw this on the Spider-Man card, I failed to mention. This is the Instinct icon. So, I used to call it the Sense card, because it looked like the spider sense going off. If anybody watched the 1990s Spider-Man, you probably totally get what I'm trying to say. So, anyway, you get +1 recruit for each color of hero you play this turn. Now, that includes your gray cards. So, if you have gray, yellow, blue, green, red, well, then you're going to get 4 recruit on that card. So, and these do add up. And it's the same with the attack. For perfect teamwork, you get +1 attack again for each color, including this card of hero that you have. And the most that you're ever going to get is up to 6. Speaking of 6, this card is costing 6. And it has 4 attack as attack. And if you would gain a wound, you may reveal this card. Now, some will say you have to discard a card. But with this one, you just have to reveal and you draw an extra card. So you draw a card instead. So again, this is only for yourself. Now, here's Cap's Rare. Even though it's only 3 attack and is a covert card, if you play an Avenger card before this one, you get +3 attack for each other Avenger hero you played this turn. So again, this is where those draw cards abilities really come in handy, because the more cards you have in your that you played, the better off this card will be for you. Next up is Black Widow's friend, Hawkeye. One second. Alright. So, we have quick draw. 3 recruit, 1 attack, and you get to draw a card. Really nice to get. Then, with this one, it's a tech card. However, it's 2 attack. If you play an adventure hero before this, so if you play this card before this card gets 3 attack instead of 2. Then, 5 recruit, 3 attack, tech card. If you play a tech card before this, choose one. Each other player draws a card, or each other player discards a card, and that's a covering fire. And then finally, impossible trick shot. If you know anything about Hawkeye, of course he's going to go do that. Now 5 attack is a tech card, and whenever you defeat a mastermind, a villain or mastermind this turn, you rescue 3 bystanders. So it's a very, very nice card indeed. Alright, now the Avengers would not be anything without some muscle, and I'm talking about the strongest Avenger there is, the Hulk. 3 recruit, strength card, 2 attack. If you play a strength card before this, you get +1 attack. And this one's called Growing Rage, or Growing Anger. Now, this next one is called Unstoppable Hulk. You get 2 attack already as an instinct card. And if you may KO a wound from your hand or discard pile, if you do, you get 4 attack. Now, you're probably wondering, wait a minute, how am I going to get these wounds? Well, I'll tell you one thing. The downside about playing as the Hulk is if you recruit this card, even though it gives you some great attack, downside is, well, Crazed Rampage gives everybody wounds, including yourself. So, unless you're planning on, tell your teammates, hey, sorry about this, but I want to get this attack going. Yeah, it hurts. But it's all going to be worth it with Hulk Smash. Play a green card before that. It's 5 attack. It gets 5 more. So that's 10 attack. Again, it is the most powerful card, because he is the strongest Avenger. I don't care what Thor says. But we'll get to Thor here in a minute. Because we got to talk about the ever clever, martini drinking, son of a gun that he is, Iron Man, Tony Stark. So, kind of like how with Black Widow's card, you have 3 recruit, tech, you draw a card, and its second condition, if you play a attack card before it, you draw another card. So this is all about drawing cards, as you can tell. Then, Impulse Rays is a range. That is the range I was talking to you about before. 3 recruit, 2 attack. If you play a range hero before this, you get 1 more attack added to it. Then Arc Reactor is 3 attack, 5 recruit to get it, and it's attack. And then if you play a tech hero before this, you get +1 for each other tech hero you played this turn. That is such a great card to have. And then finally, Quantum Breakthrough. You draw 2 cards, and then if you play a tech before it, you draw 2 more. Okay, Thor was getting a little jealous of the fact that I said that Hulk was the strongest Avenger. I'm sorry, Thor, but I saved you for last, buddy. I saved the best for last, of course, as far as the Avengers go. So he's 3 recruit. He's worth, you have to recruit him for 3. You get 2 recruit from him. If you play a strength card before it, you get 2 more. So that's a nice little trade-off. And that's his Odin's Son ability. Next up is Surge of Power. Now, it is only worth 2 recruit. I mean, it's worth 4 recruit. You get 2 recruit, and it's a range. However, if you make at least 8 or more recruit this turn, you get 3 attack. So that it can become a really nice card. What's even better, though, is Call Lightning. It's 3 attack, and you get 3 more attack if you play a range card before it. And then, of course, God of Thunder. 5 recruit. And then you can use recruit as attack this turn. So with all that recruit, and let's say you have 10 recruit and you have like 2 attack. Well, now you could use that recruit to change it, to convert into attack, and now you have enough to hit a Mastermind. Or clear the city. Alright, now, last but not least, the X-Men. First off, of course, we're going to start with the leader, Cyclops. Determination. He costs 2. It gives you 3 recruit. Strength card, but the downside is, to play this card, you must discard a card from your hand. Now, this is to regards to the fact that he has a visor, as you can see on the card. So, without that visor, his optical blasts are completely, they're too powerful to deal with without that visor. So, but he's determined, you know, to use it. Next is Optic Blast. Again, 3 recruit, but you get 3 attack. It is a range card, but again, to play this card, you gotta discard a card. However, the bet, sooner or later, you're going to get this, which is Unending Energy, which allows you to be able to, if a card effect makes you discard this card, you may return this card to your hand. And so this way, when you go to play this card, and this card here, when you would just have to reveal this basically, and then you could play this card still, without having to discard anything. And then finally, his rare, X-Men United. It's 6 attack. And then when you play an X-Men hero before this, you get +2 attack for each other X-Men hero you played this turn. So it's like when he takes off that visor and has that uncontrollable energy coming out from his eyes, that's basically what that's doing. Alright. Next up, Emma Frost, the White Queen. So this card is worth 3. It gives you 1 recruit, and you get to draw a card, and is a range. And this one is called Mental Discipline. Next up is Shadowed Thoughts. It gives you 2 attack. Then if you play a covert card before this, you may play the top card of the villain deck. If you do, you get +2 attack. Now, I have really yet to... I don't use this ability very often. And when I do, it always ends up badly. Because chances are it's always going to give me one of those schemes that, oh, yeah, now I got to play Scheme Twist. Now I got to play 2 more cards from the villain deck or something. So you want to be careful with this card. Next up is Psychic Link. Each player, that includes the person playing this card, may reveal another X-Men hero, and each player who does draws a card. So that's a great card to have. And then finally, Diamond Form. This is when she has that diamond form. Her skin becomes completely diamond. 5 attack, and whenever you defeat a villain or mastermind this turn, you get 3 recruit. So that could definitely come in handy. Speaking of come in handy, this guy's got the quickest hands in the team. We're talking about Gambit. And he likes to stack the deck and draw 2 cards, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck. And this one costs 2 recruit and is a covert card. This card is worth 3, is worth 3 recruit, gives you 2 recruit. Reveal the top card of your deck, discard it or put it back. If you play an instinct card before this, do the same thing to each other player's deck. Now this is a great way to make sure that if you got some stronger cards in your deck and you haven't got to them yet and you keep getting those gray cards, this is a good way to get rid of them. And another reason why is because of Card Shark here. Reveal the top card. If it's an X-Men hero, draw it. And it gives you 2 attack. And then his rare, High Stakes Jackpot. Reveal the top card of your deck. Get attack equal to that card's cost. So again, you want to use those cards wisely in hopes to not only get that jackpot, unstoppable jackpot, or high stakes jackpot, and you'll be able to really do some damage. Because that card, even though it starts at 4, can get even better. But that's another reason why you want to get rid of those gray cards. And another way to get rid of gray cards, you have Rogue, who has Energy Drain. This costs 3 recruit, and then gives you 2 recruit. If you play a red card or a covert card before this, you may KO a card from your hand or discard pile. If you do, you get +1 recruit. That includes, you can get rid of a gray card or a wound, and you still get some recruit. Then we have Borrowed Brawn. As you can tell, she's sucking energy out of Thane there. Even though it has one attack, if you play a strength hero before this, or a strength card before this, you get 3 more attack. Next up is Copy Powers. Play this card as a copy of another card you played this turn. This card is both covert and color of the copy of the card you are playing a copy of. So, if you're playing, let's say I just played this card here, then I'm going to play that card there, and I have 5 attack, but I need some more attack because the guy I'm facing is worth 7. I could play this as a copy of that card and get that attack. And then finally, her rare is 4 attack, and then each player, that includes yourself, discards the top card of their deck. Play a copy of each of those cards. So you get the attack, or the recruit, and use the effects if there are any. Because you're playing it as yourself. Next up is Storm. Storm here is gathering storm clouds. Costs you 3 recruit. You get 2 recruit. If you play a range hero, you get to draw a card. Next up is Lightning Bolt. It's worth 4 recruit. You get 2 attack. And then any villain you fight on the rooftops this turn gets -2 attack. So let's say a villain on the rooftop is worth 8 and you only have 6 attack, but you have this card on hand, you just -2. And if you have multiple of these cards, you can get down to where you don't have to hit him for anything. And then Spinning Cyclone, it costs you 6, it gives you 4 attack, but here's a really great effect here. You may move a villain to a new city space. Rescue any bystanders captured by that villain. If you move a villain to a city space that already has a villain, swap them. So let's say you have a villain on the bridge, okay? And you want to move them here to the sewers. And they have a bunch of bystanders. You want to go ahead and do that. You can swap them and rescue those bystanders, and you still get your 4 attack. And then finally, Tidal Wave. Her rare gives you 5 attack, and any villain you fight on the bridge this turn gets -2. Then if you play a range hero before this, the Mastermind this turn gets -2. And that only happens one time though. So if you're able to hit the Mastermind twice, it only gets that -2 that one time only. Okay guys, I saved the best for last, of course. Especially when it comes to the X-Men. I'm talking about, he's the best at what he does. That's right, I'm talking about Wolverine. Now Wolverine, if you notice, all these other heroes have multi-class decks, which means they have range, or they have tech, or strength, or range. However, with Wolverine, he has nothing but instinct. So, keen senses, it costs you 2, you get 1 attack. If you play an instinct hero before that, you draw a card. This is all he is about, folks. He's all about drawing cards. Now, healing factor. You may KO a wound from your hand or discard pile. If you do, draw a card. And it also has 2 attack. Next up is Frenzied Slashing. 2 attack. and if you play Instinct Hero before this, you draw 2 cards. Then finally, he's best known for it, guys and gals, Berserker Rage. Now, of course, it says 0 here. However, you draw 3 cards. Then if you play Instinct Hero before this, you get +1 attack for each extra card you draw in this turn. Now that, my friends, is what we call some serious damage. Especially if you are going strictly mono deck with this guy. And with other cards like it. Okay, so that is all the cards that you will see in the core set. I will be sharing this on my YouTube channel here in a few minutes. I thank you all for watching this. Please follow me here on YouTube and also on Twitch at GT Guild Gaming. And please let me know what you think. If there's anything I can do to make things better on this channel, please let me know. And the next video tutorial will be for Dark City. So look forward to that, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Until then, God bless. Keep on gaming.